What's up, everyone? I'm the Kaiju no Kami,
Cruellica Kain,
and we are going to be talking about Kamen Rider Saber special episode and Zenkaiger episode 20.
Oh wait, 20. Yes. So the special episode is the pirate world for Kamen Rider Saber. And then did you want me to...
Well, I thought there was more than... I thought there was the pirate world...
The world pirate is coming, intersecting worlds.
Okay. I know it was translated a bit differently for whoever the fan subber was for that.
And then Zenkaiger episode 20 is Swordsman and World Pirate, a brother's promise.
And the only reason we're doing Saber this week is because it is a crossover, if you did not know that.
So...
But first, I will say it's kind of weird that Saber was a special episode, but Zenkaiger was a regular episode. It should have just been one long special. And you kind of do need to watch Saber beforehand. I mean, it's not 100% necessary, but I think you'd be lost onto what they were talking about if you didn't watch Saber first.
The other challenge, though, is if you don't watch Saber on the regular, thankfully, there's not as many characters in the episode as you see in the opening song for Saber, but you still have the 3 core riders, the side female character, and then you have the princess lady who looks like she's from Gower Ranger, and...
Yeah, there's some princess for some reason.
And then you have this brother and sister who are partially featured in this episode, but we're going to talk about them a little bit more when we get to the Zenkaiger episode. So with Saber, the challenge is still, you don't know any of the characters really unless you've watched it. And so while we've watched the first episode and we were introduced to Toma and Mei Sudo, who are the 2 main characters that were part of the first episode, we don't know much about Rintaro or Kento, or even Reika or Ryoga, Shindai, or Sophia, who is...
Is she the princess?
Yes. So, those are just basically the names of the various characters in the episode. I will say... It was more of a Sentai-ish episode than a Kamen Rider episode. However, I've only seen, just like him, only 1 episode of Saber. And that was the first episode.
And that was a dreadful train wreck.
But what I'm going with that is I admittedly don't know if Saber is more of a Sentai-ish Kamen Rider versus a traditional Kamen Rider, because the characters they
fit very well together, basically.
Yes,
they fit very well because from what I've read and seen in reviews, Saber's tone is pretty more Sentai-ish.
Well, and if that's the case, that's fine, because I don't want Sentai in my Kamen Rider. I prefer Kamen Rider to be Kamen Rider.
And Sentai to be Sentai.
But if that's what they're going for and it succeeds, which I know it's not, but if it were to succeed, then fine, I'd give them props for it. Now, before I really get into the story, I do have to say, from watching the first episode to watching episode...
Are you talking about for Saber?
For Kamen Rider Saber.
This would technically be 43 and a half.
Well, no, it would be 40. It's chapter... So the prior episode to this was chapter 39.
No, 43 aired last week.
Well, it said...
That's... No, if you... Okay, hold on. See, this is what...
Oh, okay.
Next is chapter 44, open the last page.
Okay. So, how I was going with this is, I can only base it on Toma and Mei, because they were the only 2 characters.
Well, we had Rintaro at the end of the
first episode. We really didn't know much about Rintaro.
From what I've seen, like Mei, she's exactly the same she was in the first episode.
Well, yes.
Utterly annoying.
Well, she doesn't look like she's changed. But the actor for Toma, he seems like he's changed significantly as an actor. Now, and this is just a perception of watching two very distinctly different episodes that are polar opposites of the series itself. You have the first one that's an introduction, and then this one. But I will say, Toma, he acted the shit out of the episode.
So, I will say, watching this episode, I actually was like, okay, when I eventually have to review Saber, maybe it won't be so bad.
So, how Saber starts off is you see Zenkaiger's ship. Now, the only Zenkaiger actor from this is Zenkaiger.
Well, no, it started out with the Rider characters looking at the sky.
Well, yes, but then you see Zenkaiger's
then
ship.
Zenkaiger's ship comes out in space, goes around whatever that Death Star-looking space elevator thing is. And then they see a shooting star, which ends up being...
I wonder if they're part of the 00 world.
And then it ends up being Orihime crashing into the ground.
So, it's basically, these episodes, just for awareness, are going to be based on the Tanabata Festival. I am not even going to pretend to know all of the history of this. I'm American, and that's not to say I don't care about other cultures. I just know I would not give it the respect for the festival as it deserves. But they do in both episodes for both Saber and Zenkaiger.
They give you good information on what the whole festival is about.
So if you want to learn more about the festival, I would recommend either looking up online, which I've done, or actually watching the episodes.
Every show does Tanabata.
Well, exactly. And I thought they did a great representation and respect of it, and I don't want to butcher that. So then we have Orihime, which I'm going to feel really bad because I didn't even think about the bow, because the voice actor...
You didn't know that was a female bot right at the start?
No.
See, I did, because she was named Orihime.
Once again.
Yeah, but...
Like I said...
Well, even if you don't know the Tanabata stuff, Hime should have been the...
Well, God damn it. She said Orahi-me, M-E. So my mind didn't connect Hime because there was that hyphen in the subtitling. So I didn't consciously think female villain, which is awesome, but I didn't consciously think of that because admittedly I'm used to Sentai and Kamen Rider making it easy for dumbasses, because remember in Gaim you had the one female villain but it had Kaiba's voice actor. So I was very confused because it had a feminine breastplate and a male voice. And I am so far beyond open-minded, but I was confused because I didn't know what pronoun to use.
Well, it's the same with, in Ninja. A lot of people thought Kiwiman was a girl because of Megumi Han doing the voice, but the character was clearly represented as a male.
Well, and that's the hard part, because you want to be respectful of, in modern age of gender, you don't want to normalize, but you want to be fair. So I was trying to be fair, and I'm like, I am going to fail at this.
I was using the words they and them before it was cool.
I know, you've always used they and them. I give gender to everything. Even if it's a stuffed animal, it has a gender in my mind. Anyways. So...
Orihime uses this stuff to make all the people argue with each other.
Which it was funny because she uses this power. She basically writes on a note card, have all couples argue with each other. And I was like, Couples do that normally. You don't need a magical power to force people to do that. If you're in a relationship, I hate to break it to you, if you don't argue, then you're not in a relationship. And for anybody under the age of 18 who's watching this, if your parents say they don't argue, they discuss, they're lying. Just know that they're lying. But anyways, she then fights the 3 riders, and they go into their base forms, it feels like, because later in the episode we get their enhanced forms. And so we get that, and then obviously 2 Kaisers there.
I wanted to see them like in the modern Kamen Rider Problems video, where you're trying to put the Wonder Book in there, like, come on.
Well, obviously, they're going to know how to do it. A random person who doesn't have to practice 3 hours a day is not going to know. But watching the Wonder Books again, I will say this is still my least favorite gimmick, and I am a bibliophile, and this is my least favorite gimmick.
So then they're there trying to fight Orihime. 2 Kaiser comes in. Orihime uses her cards to make all the riders become her shields as she gets away.
And 2 Kaiser yells at them because it's 2 Kaiser.
But I did like when she tripped over May and she's like, "What are you doing there?"
Yes. Don't sit in the middle of the sidewalk.
She leaves. 2 Kaiser learns about their little world for a bit, and
they go into the bookstore, and 2 Kaiser, being 2 Kaiser, he has the shoplift. And Toma loves the idea of a pirate because basically the episode starts with him having writer's block. So May grabs a card that Orihime drops.
She didn't consciously
think about it. She hands it to Toma. Toma writes what his idea for the story is going to be, that the pirate steals all of the people's precious treasures. And then all of their Wonder Books disappear. And the frog that May had disappeared.
And they're blaming Kaito. Or, not
Zox.
Kaito. Zox. Why did I say Kaito? They're blaming Zox for it. He's just looking around this library.
He did shoplift already.
Reika and her brother pop out and just start attacking him, not even knowing why they're attacking him. They're just attacking him.
But I did like, because this is the first time we've ever seen, we've ever seen Reika and Ryoga.
Well, I've seen the screenshots.
Well, okay, first time I have seen them then. And watching her use this mist move, like a true ninja, was kind of cool. And then so...
I tried to catch the fog, but I missed.
So anyways...
They have him on the ground, then they're talking, and then they realize...
Zoc gets away.
Well, no, then they realize that the card he had wrote on was Orihime's, and so everyone's like, wait, so Toma's like, yeah, that means it's all my fault, and everyone just starts staring him down, which is pretty funny.
Because he is correct. It's his fault.
And then they go and they find Orihime, as they're like, oh, well, maybe we should just look for an area where all these couples are arguing. Well, that's going to narrow it down a lot. Whoa, what the... Oh, there she is.
Well, and so this is where it gets funny, because like every other time, Zox comes onto screen, and he's standing next to the 3 riders. Rintaro is actually on the ground because he was fighting Orihime prior to. And Zox is standing next to them, and he starts dancing. Rintaro then asks, why are you dancing?
Meanwhile,
like, everybody asks.
May's like, okay,
to be fair to May, if I saw someone randomly dancing, I would be beating around to the music too.
Yes, but you would probably look more authentic than she does. She looks like she's just, it's all being forced on her to do it. And that's my biggest issue. That was my biggest issue with her in season 1. Episode 1.
Because what have you watched that I haven't watched?
And she's just, her every facial motion she makes just seems so far-fetched and forced. Like, that happened?
Okay, moving on from that.
So, and I can't stand it. I cannot stand her. And it's the same issue the girl from Ghost had, too.
So then, they fight. Obviously, Zox is going to lose because we have to extend the episode. Then, the Rider trio, I'm just going to call them that because it's going to be easier. They all think, well, except for Rintaro immediately, they all think, maybe she's doing the opposite with her wishes. So they crazily think, okay, we still have our precious gifts, we just can't, or precious treasures, we can't see them. So then May is like, but I can see them.
But this is the weird thing, though. That's why this part threw me off, because, so, could they not feel them in their pockets? How did they know them they had them in their hands then? That was that, and also, okay, so May, when the frog disappeared, why didn't everyone else see the frog in her hand?
Okay, so it's called perception filter.
This isn't Doctor Who.
I know, but that's my easiest way of explaining it. It's a perception filter.
But then again, I'm still wondering if the villains, Bacchus and Iago, had conquered all the entire multiverse. How does Saber World exist?
Well, they say that in the next episode. But
it's still
okay,
a plot hole.
but let's move on. Because if we sit here and identify all the plot hills...
Plot hills?
Well, they basically are hills because they're not mountains. But if we try to decipher
yes.
all of it...
Because we still got to get to the Zenkaiger episode. So then May helps them transform.
And Chukaiser transforms again.
And they're still like, why is he dancing again? So then they defeat Orihime and the gear.
So then, at the end of the episode, Zox, still needing to fulfill his kleptomania desires, comes up to Ryoga.
Is that his name, Ryoga?
Yeah, Ryoga. I think gives him a hug.
Hugs him, and then leaves, goes to go on a ship, and Ryoga notices...
It's like his Wonder Book is gone.
So him and his sister jump onto Zox's ship as it's taking...
No, they jump onto his legs.
Okay.
And I felt bad for Ryoga because he grabbed Zox's leg. Then
Reika grabs
his legs, and he's like being pulled. So they inevitably...
Team Rocket is blasting off again!
So they go to the Zenkaiger world. Now, another thing I want to mention before we get into Zenkaiger is these episodes were written by Keiichi Hasegawa. He has done series like
Q Ranger. Ugh.
Yoshirake.
But this is the weird thing. Neither Junko nor the main writer for Saber had anything to do with this two-part. Which is really, like, you'd think that they would have both.
Well, actually, they were written by two different people for both episodes.
No.
Oh, wait, shit,
You're looking at the wrong one again. You're looking at episode...
Oh, Nobuhiro Mori.
Okay.
And then directed by Satoshi Morita.
Yeah, and that's who did the...
And that's who did this.
But yeah, you'd think that the main writer for... They would have Junko and the main writer for Saber connect with each other and both co-write these episodes together.
And the challenge with this is obviously we can't say the challenge for Saber because we haven't watched Saber enough to recognize it. The challenge for Zenkaiger is obviously you've been joining along with us for the ride, so we've been watching these episodes. And the first episode of Zenkaiger said the exact same thing he made a comment on. That our Wall King and Iago conquered all the rest of the multiverse. Now, obviously the loophole in this is he conquered the rest of the Sentai-verse.
But not apparently the Kamen Rider one.
So... as they start the episode, because apparently the writer needed to know this one fact, that it's a newly discovered alternate world. That apparently it was hidden so deep that nobody saw it until two Kaiser went to that world. There you go. So with this Zenkaiger episode, we started off with Tanabata.
Majine wants to celebrate Tanabata again. The grandma's like, well, that only happens once a year. And she gets all depressed. And then they're like, well, we'll celebrate it anyway. And then she disappears.
And so then we also come in next to Zox, Reika, and Ryoga. They all touch down. Obviously, Ryoga is pissed off because his Wonder Book is gone. Zox is being an asshole and happy that he's got the Wonder Book, so he's not giving it up. And Reika is standing back like, can I help? And then the boys say, no, this is a sausage contest. We're going to take care of this ourselves. So... And then when they start fighting, Ryoga and Zox, Kaito and Juran
looking for
run
Majine
past, and they stop to see Zox, and they're like, "Hey, Zox, have you seen Majine?" And Zox is like, "You need to leave."
And then Ryoga's like, are you friends of his? Okay, then you're my enemies. And they transform and they start fighting, and the monster shows up and teleports Reika away, and then they start trying to figure out, okay, well, why is he only selecting these certain girls? And
Kaito's brilliant answer was because they're all girls. He has the observance of a gnat. They're all female. Wow, that was obvious. So you can tell me there's no other deciding factor. And then Zox is like, no, they have ponytails. And the first thing he thinks about is like, shit, my sister.
But of course, he's going to play it all off.
Well, he's got to be that cool guy.
He leaves. Then, actually, before we get to that other thing about the saber part, I did like the White Rider's design for the Lion Dew when he had the whole white outfit.
I thought that was supposed to be like snow or winter.
I don't know. I'm just saying it was pretty cool. But anyway, back to Zenkaiger. So then they have this. So then we jump to the monster in wherever he's taking all the girls. So
and Ichirud is like pissed off.
And Ichirud's like, "What? You didn't grab the pirate's sister! What? Hey, we have a Zenkaiger there. We'll dispose of you later because plot convenience."
And then, so Majine gets tied up, and Majine, being the heroic female that she is, surprisingly not pissed off, so she's not evil at the moment. She's like, I will protect you all. And Reika sees this, and she's inspired, and they both say, let's work together.
And then we go to
the... Alright. I will take this over. I watch Drag Race. I love drag queens. I love drag kings. I love anyone who does something creative. However, Ryoga can never dress as a female again. Because I know there's hairy queens out there, and I respect hairy queens, but in that dress, he should have shaved his damn legs. Kaito actually worked looking like a girl.
Okay, I'm more thinking of the lips on Vroom and Juran.
Okay, Juran has these big ass lips, these eyes that have like 301 lashes, and yes, I'm referencing drag queen things, but they're the greatest lashes out there. And he is not sitting properly in a dress. The boy don't know how to sit like a girl.
Well, they're kikinoids. How would they?
Majine!
So, how would they be
They need to
dragnoids?
close their legs. Close their legs. Be sitting properly. He sat like he was ready for a game of rugby or some shit. Anyways, The only one who truly looked into it outside of Kaito was Gaon. Because, Dime Store Predator had to go there.
And then
But
Ryoga's all like pissed off, like, oh, how can you do this to my sister? Aren't you worried about your friend? And I'm like, well, yeah, but we trust her to be okay. She can take care of herself.
so then, obviously, Ryoga's like, fine, I'll put my wig on. Still does not look like a lady.
And then the monster, they hear him coming, and then Juron comes up and is like, whack!
The best scene in the episode, he takes an umbrella and uses it as a baseball bat.
But I love the dramatic music until he whacks the monster.
And then you hear the flick of the baseball bat.
And then the music stops and the monster is over the gate like,
So it was hilarious. Then you have the transformations for all the Rangers. And then...
You have Zox going to make sure Flint is... on
Which
the ship.
I actually liked it because it was a nice family moment. Because you actually could see, and this takes good acting as well. You could actually see the relief literally in his face and eyes, and I'm like, okay, he's doing a good job. I appreciate it. So you have a good family moment. Zox obviously doesn't necessarily see the error of his ways, but he goes and gives Ryoga his Wonder Book.
And then they transform, and the four Zenkaigers have their fun, and they're like to Ryoga, no, you gotta do it. You gotta say my name is, and do a pose. Okay, what? Just do it. Come on, get into it.
And he does like the most, I can't even replicate it. He does like the most metal introduction ever. And even Kaito's like, that was awesome, you're so cool.
Then they're fighting the monsters. Zox shows up. He gives the three of them gears that work for 01, Geo, and Saber. So we've got Juron doing Geo, and Gaon doing the rising kick for 01. Rising Impact. And then Kaito doing Saber.
Which is the burning sword. But
And then Vroom, they're like, what about me? I want to be a Kamen Rider.
Okay, all I thought of was Misao and him and Kyoger acting all depressed.
You mean Juoger?
Juoger, yes.
But
Misao being all depressed, and you see him just falling to the ground.
I did like, though, when Juron thinks what's going to happen, does his one thing and he falls to the ground, gets beat on, and then he does, the time reverse or something.
Oh, yes. No, it actually reminded me of the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock movies, where he's about to go into a fight and sees exactly how each move will play out, and then you see it in real time.
I was thinking of Die Ranger when he rewinds time. But yeah, then they kick ass and Vroom's all like, oh, and Kaito's like, what Sentai is this? And Sekchan's gonna be like, that's not a Sentai, that's Kamen Rider.
And then, does Zox's transformation come first, or
No.
So Majine, then you see out of nowhere a shot happens. Majine and Reika, which Reika's Kamen Rider outfit is phenomenal.
I like both of them, Reika and Ryoga.
Oh, I like both of them, but I have to say, I liked her outfit because it was very ninja-like, but it looked like it was easy to move in too, which is rare for certain Kamen Rider outfits.
These days.
Yes, but, so...
They kick ass.
They talk
about how they escaped, and they show her beating up all the grunts and
Majine kneeling on top of a pile of grunts, and I'm like, my girl.
I like they didn't actually show you what Majine was doing. It looked like she was just standing there watching as Reika's kicking all these guards out, and she's like, "You're not bad," and Reika's like, "You're not either." And then the camera zooms out, and you see all the pile that Majine's sitting on. And that was the other thing I did like, is when they were on the rooftop dressed up and telling Ryoga, "Oh yeah, we trust her. She's got a mad temper."
Oh no, they said she's very scary when she's mad. Because obviously Majine has risen to the top of being one of my favorite characters because of her anger issues.
Well, like when she was doing that curse.
Oh, God.
With the nails. And then, so then when they are fighting him, then Zox comes down and transforms into the V-Rex mode.
So he dances, and once again we hear from Ryoga now, why is he dancing? Because this is the running joke of the crossover. Now, to be fair, this dancing, you can hate the other dance move. This one is so cool. It's like a combination of disco and techno that I loved it.
And I'm pretty sure that was a techno-ized, slowed down or sped up version of the Time Ranger theme.
It did sound like it because after we watched the episode, we actually
replayed
that scene several times, played the Time Ranger opening just so we get our ducks in a row. But it was so cool. And I like the metallic sound of when the Zenkaiger gear comes in.
The kaiju.
And so the transformation was really cool looking. The new design of his outfit.
So I'm not sold on it like you are.
I love it.
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sold on it like you are. But, so then they beat the villain. Then the big version comes in, and I like when Ryogo's like, what the?
I know, because obviously in most Kamen Riders, your monster doesn't grow.
So then
we have a very simplified mech battle. Because
I love the background they used for the mech battle this time.
Oh, absolutely. And they're getting better on their backgrounds, because this looked like a real background as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But the really cool thing about it is it was simplistic. It obviously it was tacked on. We all know it was tacked on. But it was functional, because obviously they made a joke about it with the fact that it happened. Then obviously when...
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention the villain. It was the prince for Orahime's prince.
Yeah, Hoshi...
I can't think of its name now. But yeah, so he was going around looking for Orihime.
Hikoboshi. And so it was a fun battle, because obviously Hikoboshi then uses his card to say that Chukaiser is going to get hurt when he tries to attack me. Obviously Chukaiser gets hurt.
Majine reverses the spell, and then they
because Majine is psycho, and then obviously there's no effort, the monster's destroyed. And then we get to the end where everybody's saying bye. Reika, I don't know if she's like, I don't know her character very well, but she goes and hugs Majine like super hard. And everybody's like, this is super obvious. I think because she's not an emotional person, it was like her first girlfriend, so to speak. And then Kaito's like, well, how are you going to get home? And Zox's comment was the best comment in the world. They expect me to take them home. How rude is that? And I'm like, it's your fault. It is your fault they're here.
Technically, no. They're the ones that jumped on his ship.
Technically, yes, because he lifted the Wonder Book off of Ryoga. So everything is technically Zox's fault. Even the Saber episode is technically Zox's fault. Because if he didn't find this mysterious world, the Tojitendo wouldn't have taken a liking to it. So it's Zox's fault for that.
But then we had this weird ending scene of just seeing they go back to Saber's world, and we see a statue waking up, which I'm guessing that's got something to do with Saber.
I'm hoping so, because if it has something to do with Zenkaiger...
But that's why I'm like, why would you have this in your Zenkaiger episode? That has nothing to do with Zenkaiger.
So we'll find out more after the Olympics. So with that said, everyone, you're going to get a couple of weeks away from us.
Unless we do the Zenkai Red movie special.
Oh, then maybe you won't get a break from us.
And we have Trigger.
Okay, then you're not getting a break from us at all.
Well,
Lucky you.
But yeah, this is pretty much it for Zenkaiger for the next 3 weeks.
2-3 weeks, I don't know.
August 1st is the next episode.
Oh, so about 3 weeks, yeah.
So, it was a fun episode.
I appreciated it. Actually, I appreciated both episodes. Because both episodes actually were smartly done. Admittedly, you could tell that unlike the other episodes, which I know you're not a fan of the plotless, like the overarching story episodes or non-overarching story episodes, but these did definitely feel like they're tack-on type of episodes. I think the bigger challenge is, at least for the Zenkaiger part, is you've primarily had Junko writing a majority of her episodes for Zenkaiger. So you could definitely feel the difference
with this.
Now, you could tell that she had input because of the Zenkaiger gear and things like that, but you could definitely feel that it was a little off.
This was 100%, well, I'd say actually 90% filler episode.
Yes.
The only part that wouldn't be filler was Zox getting his... Oh, and I did like when Kaito was like, wait, you can summon it? For the gear.
Well, that's because his sister made his bootleg better. So does that mean his is the original and Kaito's is the bootleg? Because one of them has to be inferior then. But I appreciated both episodes. I can't say that I'm sold to the point where I want to watch Saber. I appreciate the growth in the characters from what I saw, but beyond that, I don't feel like I'm going to go out of my way to watch it, only because it didn't hold my interest, and it really felt like there were too many characters that, without knowing the story, it kind of felt a little heavy.
I felt there was not enough bubble filter. Where was the bubble filter during this entire episode?
Okay. Having only watched one episode and not having bubble filter, I thought of that as a win. Because if I was going to have bubble filter...
Bubbles!
I would have cried.
Fucking bubbles!
So...
I liked them. I was entertained. Like I said, Saber, it made me go, okay, maybe when I end up actually watching this series to review, maybe it won't be so bad after all.
No, I still feel like I said when we watched
I am glad the
episode.
narrator with the mustache did not appear, though.
But when I first watched the Saber episode with him, all I did, I have it on camera, is I laughed at him and said, you have to review this series one day. And I still hold true to that maniacal
There were
laughter.
things I liked in the Zenkaiger episode, despite being all filler. So, it's fine.
It served its purpose.
I think it would have been better off, though, if it had just been a special for both series instead of a special Saber and then episode 20 of Zenkaiger.
Well, the reason why they did make it episode 20 is because of the Zox new transformation.
No, actually, well, they could have easily not had that.
I know,
but
I know.
No, I think the reason that they made Saber a special episode is because Saber's only, I think, got 3 or 4 episodes left.
Oh, so this would have cut into it. But then the frustration with that is being so late in the series. I understand it's still so early in the series for Zenkaiger, but it just doesn't work.
I don't know. But either way.
But if you've watched Saber enough and you have any idea of how the prior episodes were or how the characters are, please in the comments, let us know.
And I will say that also the other thing with Saber, I would actually look for when Reika and Ryoga get introduced.
Yeah, they were probably, I would say, the saving grace of the episodes. Well, at least of the Saber episode more so. Because Rintaro and Toji Tendo, I think his name is.
Toji Tendo's the villain.
Whatever.
Toma?
No, Toma's the main writer.
Oh, you're talking about the third wheel?
Wow, you're nice. Yeah, Toji.
Whatever. But either way, What did you guys think?
Pento.
What did you guys think of this crossover? What did you think of it compared to other ones like the Ghost Geoger one and the Gaim or not? Wait, yeah,
Gaim and
was it Tokuger? No, Tokuger did it with
no,
Drive.
No, it was
Was it Gaim and Rio? No, it could have been Gaim and Rio Soldier.
Well, no, Rio Soldiers. I think it was
Ghost Geoger, Ninja Drive, Gaim Tokuger.
Yes, it was Tokuger.
Because
right.
that's right. Because the train was going by as what's his name was on the phone past his window.
Yes, yeah, it was Tokuger. Because we had watched Tokuger, so we were a little confused with that.
Yeah, because then in the Drive Ninja one is when you had Brain and Pinky and the Brain were in the room talking and the mech battles going on behind them.
Yes.
Repeating the Gaim joke. But anyway, what did you guys think of it compared to those or just in general? Click like, subscribe, the bell notification. You can check us out on Twitter at Kaiju no Kami, Facebook Kaiju no Kami, Instagram Kaiju no Kami,
Patreon
Kaiju no Kami, and the website creativitybydesignllc.com. Until next time, bye.